Welcome back, folks, to the Florida Mutineer Kraken Bounty powered by After Dark Esports. It's day 2, the final day, Championship Sunday. And if you're unaware, we are in our winners finals portion of the bracket. We've got to our top 4 teams, which means in the lower bracket, while also playing inside of the winners finals, we will have our losers semifinals going on. So we'll keep you updated on that. But right now, of course, my name is McCormiel. With myself is FBI Tugboat. And again, we are here on Championship Sunday to bring you not only the coverage of the winners finals, but of course all the way throughout the rest of the tournament. That's going to go down to losers finals and grand finals, and that's what our schedule is going to look like here today.
Absolutely, literally thousands of dollars on the line here today, McCormiel. First place going to be taking themselves home $2,000. Second place taking them home $1,000. So some solid cash here for playing a little Call of Duty action. We got Avengers taking on Jinete here for the winners finals. Let's talk about maps a little bit here, McCormiel.
Well, starting off with map number 1, we'll find ourselves on a Bocage. Going into map number 2 for our search and destroy, we will also find ourselves back on Bocage. So we get a double dose to start things off. For map number 3, we're guaranteed Berlin. And then, of course, if we have to go to 4 and 5, we have a Gafutu hardpoint and a Berlin search and destroy to round things out for a best of 5 series. Either team here, the opportunity to go ahead and punch their ticket into the grand final. But more importantly, Tugboat, that means a guaranteed cash prize, placing of either $1,000 or $2,000. So this quite literally is a $1,000 game, at least, at the very minimum. And of course, the loser will go down to the losers bracket. You've already secured top 3 if you're in the winners finals at this point. Unfortunately, you just have to get to that grand finals to make sure you place in the cash.
Absolutely. Only top 2 getting paid out here today. Like you said, little Bocage double dose action to start this one off. Just in case you're just joining us, of course, our third game mode is not presently here and in its complete form. McCormiel will be looking at a hard point first. Search and destroy for map number 2. 2 hard points following up there to mimic the respawn game mode that would be filling in your third map, and then a 5th map, search and destroy. Now we have not gotten there quite yet. Yesterday we did get a clean 3-0 sweep, and then between Avengers Valence that did go down to 3-1, so it didn't quite go the distance, but also wasn't as short as it could have gotten. Loading to Bocage right now.
Yeah, well, yesterday we saw inside of our winners semifinals matchup, at least for the side of Avengers versus Valen, it was a decently close matchup for some of those games, and then others just turned completely on their heads and look completely different. And unfortunately, we aren't going to actually have the lobby loading up. It did crash before we were able to get into it, so we'll talk just a bit more here as we start out the broadcast for the time being. But just going back again to yesterday, talking about Jinete Gaming, they had a great win starting off inside of the winners semifinals when they went up against Tribeca. We saw that as our first match throughout the entirety of the Kraken Bounty yesterday. It was a quick 3-0, but again, that can be a bit deceiving at the same time because the first map was, I believe, within a 25-point margin of victory for the side of Jinete. The search and destroy went down to around 11, where the side of Jinete came back down from a 4-1 deficit. Yep. And then, of course, inside of map number 3, we saw yet another closely contested hardpoint, but Jinete was able to go ahead and walk away with that. Tribeca got knocked down to the losers bracket, but they have been making themselves a run. Now, we also have to look to the losers bracket as well, Tugboat, because here's the thing. Yesterday, when we were in the winners semifinals, when we saw Valence going up against the Avengers, the one thing that we noted was that Valence and Avengers, it kind of seemed like those two teams would be a potential rematch, if not in the grand finals, potentially maybe even in the losers finals. Now, we didn't maybe expect the Avengers to get down to the losers finals, but we at least expected Valence to make top 3. Problem is, earlier today, before the stream went live inside of the losers quarterfinals, they lost to Lurk. So now Lurk has moved on. Tribeca has started to make their losers bracket. But as Bocage now is getting up and ready, you got map number 1 about to be underway. Tugboat, I'm quite excited to get Championship Sunday started here for the Kraken Bounty.
Absolutely. Allen taking out teammate, but to be fair, that was Suspects getting quite aggressive on that one.
Both these teams love their hard point. No surprise that we're dead even, at least through the first couple of hills thus far. One of the points we brought up a lot yesterday was the Avengers. They love to play through the chaos. They love to thrive in late game situations where it's back and forth. Everybody's just storming towards the point, and this is one of those maps that allows you to do just that. Jinete, though, on the flip side, do the exact same thing. They love re-hitting hills over and over again. They love being able to have a slaying battle with their opponents, and when they can get the upper advantage, they're going to take it 9 times out of 10, and that's what makes both of these teams so good, especially on land here for the Kraken bounty, and that's why they found themselves inside of the winners finals. I very easily could see both of these teams rematching in the grand final once again, potentially in even 2 best-of-5 series.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Kraken reset capability is within there, just in case you're unfamiliar. Looking at the top, Allen providing that crucial Overwatch action for right now. Health coming back as well. And I think that every time we see Allen, he's either planted his ass right on the point there in the cornmeal, or he is hitting some kind of flame.
Unfortunately enough, it took me a little bit to recognize it, but thank you to production. We do have our statistics at the top of the screen right now. Cruelty, though, unfortunately not having the greatest start of all time. I'm not used to seeing Austin being at the bottom of the barrel and when it comes to kills, but can turn it up a little bit later on. Right now, that you have to give credit where credit is due to the side of Jinete. Allen starting the game off at 16 and 10, looking for a few more as he starts to push up towards the swamp area. You look over towards the top right, you got a couple of players camping out and towards the big building over here by P3, but really all it's going to come down to is who's going to be able to play P5 nice. And here comes Allen on a crispy little flank under the tunnel. Is he going to be able to find a few shots into a player up towards the top? The answer is going to be no. The streak will be invested. Suspects will fly in towards the point. Will it be enough, though? Or will the Avengers be able to spawn up, hold everything still, and force Jinete to use a streak and get absolutely nothing from it?
Yeah, I gotta say, Avengers doing a fantastic job right now, just kind of creating this pincher movement around this hard point. Every time a head pops up, they put it down. Like a sick game of whack-a-mole. For like Cruelty now with 2 in the back right here. Fame sitting on top last 20 seconds or so. This is a Jinete squad. They're not dashing into this one to fight now. I think they're waiting for spawns. Now here it comes. Now the 2-piece again. Now the 3-piece again. Every time we tune into a main taking shots.
Flag back to the point. 10 seconds left on it. Again, you really couldn't ask for much of a closer game throughout the first 5 hard points. We'll go back to our second set of rotations into the middle map for point number 1 here. Suspects and the rest of the Jinete gaming roster trying to go ahead, control the barn, and be able to push out in the middle of the map. You see Cruelty up towards the top of P3 building. They're going to go ahead and try to break this right towards the front, and they do a nice job of doing just that. Also trying to get control of the barn, though, at the same time. It's going to be Vale. Finds one, looks for a second. Fame's going to be there. Great slaying kill feed from the side of the Avengers. This is what they do so well here on Bacage. It's controlling the middle of the map and making sure that point number 1 falls in their hands 9 times out of 10. And the big thing, Tugboat, is that this hill usually goes back and forth. You might get 10-15 seconds if you're lucky off of this point. The Avengers have already gotten themselves 25.
So some solid movements already on the second rotation of hard points. Got there quickly. Now a lot of back and forth action right now. Big Head trying to find their way in edgewise. Times 1 looking on the outside, now going the rest of his team. The bottom part right now, first floor, second floor is where it's always going to go down at, and Allen knows that one. Suspects finds a headshot as well as the rest of the Avengers now posturing up. Hard point number 2.
Slow pushes towards the point. Austin up and towards the top. You got to be able to win those gunfights. Joe gets the best of him there. Able to hold down the hill. That's 15 crisp seconds to the side of Jinete, already on point number 2. Allen slides out from the barn. You look how far across the map the Avengers are now going to have to sprint to get over towards P2. A few well-placed nades, a good push from the side of the Avengers, easily could break them back in towards the point. But right now, Jinete has done a great job of being able to be the team that rotates early, win the majority of their gunfights, find themselves set up in the hill, and it took 30 seconds for the break to come through for the Avengers. So yeah, you get some good time here. Sure, you might be happy with going ahead and stopping the bleeding a little bit, but if you're Jinete, you did the job that it was put in front of you, you completed the task, you put yourselves in a position to thrive on P2, and you got a ton of time at the very beginning of it. Now all you have to do is just maybe play for the scrap times, but more importantly, just get set up for that rotation to P3.
Scrap time is such a finicky term here on Bocage, right? When literally 6 seconds, 10 seconds can matter just so much. It seems like the term loses a little bit of meaning from what it means on other maps a little bit, but a little bit of run setting up right now. Avengers finding a full team kill and now taking out the spawns. Phantom Ice, the only one able to find something in there, gets down to 1 HP, counted. Single finger coming out of this one, not gonna happen. Big Head putting him down right there with a single shot from the MP40. Did not wait for the LP generation. Taking it to the outside right now, and the MP40 is getting done what they like. Velix takes a teammate. They'll take that trade all day long with another stop for this Jinete squad.
You have full control of the P3 building. This is the largest lead for any team thus far inside of map number 1. The Avengers have done such a nice job of being able to hold Jinete all the way back. The angles that they're watching, the positions that they're playing with each other, it's just so nice. It's almost perfect hardpoint on a map like Bacage. But with that being said, we talk about the next set of rotations. Jinete set up in towards the barn. Suspects looking out towards the left should spot it to Cruelty, but Cruelty will get the best of him there for the one-on-one gunfight win. You start to push up the swamp side now. Bill's going to be the first line of defense there, the first one to push forward. But for Jinete, you're happy right now because you got 10 seconds to yourself. You got to make sure you kill Vale up towards the top. Joe might be the one to do just that. Alan's going to be there as well. You got to make sure they can't come off the spawn and go ahead and overwhelm you at the point.
Yeah, can't this one earlier, especially when everybody's looking at taking it for a second here. McCormill, Fame 28 and 20 really popping off, but it's gonna be Valex that I'm really paying attention to. Seen Alan on the other side providing that overwatch action, especially on this P3 hill, like you said, that second floor right there. Now Jinete setting up for a run of their own. I think it was 35 seconds or so was the longest thus far, but that's what you called it out as earlier. It's gonna be Jinete looking to make that reality of their own. Almost a two-piece. That's Joe Bebe finding a little bit there, but Alan was already done so. Kill not necessarily gonna matter. Suspects finding one at the very end. It's coming on him again.
Well, we saw the largest game lead for the Avengers a bit earlier on, and that they have done a great job to go ahead and draw that back at least to a manageable 20-point gap. As you lay down in towards the point in P5, you get a nice 4-man kill feed for Jinete. They can start pushing out the back spawns. I don't know if they're actually going to realize that everybody from the side of the Avengers actually spawned behind them, but the player in middle map should be able to get that information. You pushed out in the spawns far enough to know that nobody is going to be pushing from at least the lighthouse side of things. But as Big Head, the rest of the squad now try to push over toward the top. Suspects goes big for 2. You got to look to Big Head, who's still going to be lurking around. But Jinete, while all the chaos has been going on in terms of the slaying around the hill, they've sneakily regained the lead, and now we're going to try and climb their way to the 200-point mark.
Yeah, I mean, taking a lead with now 12, 13, 15 uninterrupted points is something that simply is not said very often on Bocage. Phantom Ice finding 2. Not going to be a situation that is reversed either anytime soon for the Avengers, because Jinete just has a vice grip on this point. Looking back to the middle, members of Jinete trying to posture up around again. That's almost a full another team wipe right now, but of course the Avengers are spawning too far away.
And you look at what Jinete have been able to do. You bring back the game from about a 50-point deficit. Now you find yourselves with about a 30-point lead. It has been nothing but perfection here thus far on Bacage in the second half of this hard point. 5 in a row for Alan. Glide bomb to work with if you are Jinete. You're about 30 points, maybe 38 from winning this game outright against the side of the Avengers. The Avengers can still make the comeback. Slaying is basically dead even across the boards right now between both teams. This has been a picture-perfect map number 1 and a great start to our winners finals, but it's all going to come down to these last few hills on our third set of rotations. Middle map right now. Nobody can win it off of this hard point. I wouldn't expect it to happen anyways, but as Jinete pushes back towards the point, they'll go ahead and try to find the scraps, but Bill has something to say about it. Only good for 1 though, and it won't matter all that much with 5 seconds left. Jinete have the favorable spawns over for P2. They're going to be able to set up.
Big Head almost finding the third right now. Jets one low back, trying to monitor on this outside area. Comes down, does not find anything after player. Puts this guy down with bullets, classic way. 220 versus 190 right now. Avengers looking at a 30-point deficit, and that's a fantastic way to make sure that is continuing on. Fame trying to find someone from the top. Wisely pops down for a second, looks for it, and Suspects gets killed mid-air right there. Struck by lightning like a kite.
Another comeback on the loom potentially for the Avengers. I said it beforehand, they thrive in late game situations where everybody just starts to flood towards the hill. These are the moments that you live for as a spectator, as a fan, as a player. 8 points separate the two teams. Jinete still with the lead. 15 seconds left will be guaranteed point number 3. And with how good the Avengers have been able to hold down the house so far, it seems like this could be the point where they go ahead, flip the tides, and maybe, just maybe, are able to complete the comeback that they've had here on Jinete in the late game. 42 kills for Fame here in the map. 34 team high for Jinete from Joe. You're inside of P3 now. 25 points essentially for either team to take map 1.
Map kind of loading in for us right here. That was Allen, who's really popping off like an 8-kill advantage earlier, kind of tying up with Fame, but Fame has since left him in the dust. 12 up right now, 44-31. Fantastic numbers. A 40 bomb on the hard point is never a bad thing. And Fame ain't done yet. 231, 232. It could end all ends right here, McCord Meal.
Comes down to the kitchen. Allen gonna fly through the front door. 3 down for the side of the Avengers. Now from behind though, here comes Austin. Austin will back off for the moment. Phantom Ice around the corner. 5 points left. Everybody from the side of the Avengers starting to make the push now. It's all gonna be down to Big Head. Big Head wins one. Fame slides around the corner. He'll win one there. Allen's gonna be the last one alive. Jinete Gaming will take map number 1.
Sí, una bestia, cabrón. Bueno,
Buena, Ibis.
bueno, baby. Buenísimo, vamos allá, cabrones. Vamos allá, buenísima, cabrón. Buen fucking composure, cabrón.
Where the hackers now, Kuti? Fucking suck. You ain't got gunny. 30-30 in bow cage. Wow.
Cabrón,
You ain't
estoy
got gunny,
ganando el
Kuti.
hand.
You fucking suck.
Buenísima, cabrones. Buenísima,
Talking about
cabrones.
16-point games. Almost the same thing showing its face here, 250 to 237. Our hard points have been paying off in spades. If these were stocks, I don't even know. I don't know enough about financial shit to try and say that one way or another. We did get a little bit of like listen in action there, I think. Is that what I was hearing?
Bro, there was trash talk going on. I turned into Shrek and I was in the goddamn Bokage swamp for a little bit there. So, I mean, hell, we had a lot of things going on. We have a lot to unpack there just from that first map. Let's talk about it. Jinete Gaming, they come out storming out of the gates here early on. They were the ones who were able to go ahead and topple what we would call a dynasty in a sense here early on. So that's a beautiful thing to see right off the rip. Jinete Gaming, you come out hot. You take a very hotly contested map number 1. Now you go to an S&D where you should have the upper hand advantage over the side of the Avengers here, simply due to the fact that your team is a little bit more well oiled. You've had a lot of players who have played together for a longer period of time, and you do have who, well, fortunately enough for the side of Nenete, is a really, really great S&D player. So you have good S&D composure on your team. You have all around great players when it comes to the actual mode itself, but more importantly, you have
Ice's smile, my God, talk about wide. Like
infectious.
really like ear to ear, right? I wouldn't took a picture with that land like last time. Stand next to him, and his smile pokes me in the eye right here. It's just literally
Mhm.
from all the way out to here. Love to see it. Love to see it. He really expresses the happiness that he has here for competing. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, because you really just got to think at a certain point, whenever you come to a LAN event, it's just a good time, No matter the state of a Call of Duty, no matter how weird things seem at any point, once you get to LAN, once you're in that atmosphere, once you're in that environment, everything just goes out the window. It doesn't matter what the current state of anything is. You're just there to do what you've always done on LAN, and that's compete, that's win, and that's have a good time. And that's obviously at the expense of your opponents if you're trying to beat them. And if you're not having a good time, you're probably not winning. And you probably either got DFR'd or you're out of the tournament, within maybe top 6, top 8. So nowhere near cash place prizing. So, hey, good job. You showed up. You had a good time. Hopefully you learned a little bit of something and improve. And obviously can show up the next time and be able to do something, maybe with a different team, maybe with the same team. Who knows? It's the age-old story. You never know what's going to happen in Call of Duty. But at the same time, I do know what we will see for map number 2, and that is going to be a Bocage search and destroy. So we go back to the same map that we saw in map number 1. It's a very fast-paced search and destroy map. Will it be, as crazy and as chaotic as what we saw in map number 1? They're absolutely not. It's a lot more tactical when you're pushing up the map, but it's really as tactical as you're going to be able to get on a map like Bocage.
Yeah, so Bocage coming in again, like you said, same map, not going to be the same, just crazy balls to the walls play. This is Search and Destroy, you get no respawns on this one. And this is a game mode, of course, Nete just took 6-5 in that round 11, just ice in
Mhm.
the veins, and they're still able to perform under pressure here. McCormill, you're talking about land performances and what can really benefit you there. That performance under pressure will never hurt. We'll be getting in some live listenings here as well. Both teams, I think we can pay attention to.
Dale,
Do you wanna
Marina.
do you wanna do that?
Dale, Marina.
What you mean?
Alright, big head guard
Just the
plat.
listening portion?
Yeah, just because obviously the strats and sort
Yeah, yeah.
of sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Round does silence after this. Round does silence.
No, el control se me...
Sure.
Yeah,
You know, I will say
No, no,
though,
en la
like
izquierda.
team comms
Tiraron
are
nades
also
para acá,
by
para
what
el
it
último
looks
ataque.
like.
No, doy que la doy, que la doy, que la doy.
Zig, zig,
I think we'll wait to do that in just a minute, but as we go ahead and start things off, first blood to the side of the Avengers. It is going to be Alan and Phantom Ice who both fall. Great quick round there. I said it wasn't going to be as chaotic. I absolutely lied to you. I'm sorry. That was over within 30. It was like 15, dude, if that.
The cornmeal blasted.
Honestly, dude.
That was that was nothing if not fast. Reminds me of prom back in high school, my friend.
Quick and easy.
Looking at number 2 now. That was only a little bit to say about that one. Now, folks, team names are correct, team colors are correct. Even sides though have switched. We got Avengers on the right side in the blue. There's Big Head, Fame, and Cruelty coming in after a 237, excuse me, to 250 loss in the hard one. A very close one.
Slower offensive push here for the side of the Avengers. You're trying to work the bomb at least over towards B. That's what it looks like for the time being. 3 players stacked over towards the A site for Jinete. It's going to be a 1, or basically a 2 versus 1 over towards the B side if Yo go ahead and opt to push out. But Joe has rotated a bit further over towards the middle of the map. Find a rotation. They're going to start to push in towards the building. Suspects, shots are there. Going to be forced back down the staircase into the little cubby hole of P5 and maybe back even deep into the tunnel. So now as you start to maybe rotate this back over towards A, some information of where Jinete players are going to be. You don't know where the rest of the players are, though, so that's your biggest obstacle going forward. You just got to make sure you can either break through the door like the Kool-Aid Man or say, hey, I'm Bad Albert, sit on the point and just hope for a kill.
Hey. See how that one works. I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to get a lot meaner than that one. That was Fame finding one, a lot of back and forth, and just like that. Man, that was just so quick. Once again, McCormick straight up lying to us, folks.
Well, I mean,
Lower.
you know,
Take your time.
like, you got to be a smooth criminal sometimes, man. The slick demeanor that you got to have, you know, it is what it is, man.
Absolutely.
Get off my back, man.
5 seconds to start in this one. Let's check out Jinete Gaming, see how those comms are going. I can guarantee they'll be heated.
He's in default? Okay.
Naded it.
Tiraron la misma nade.
I
Van a
naded
pushar a la
on
izquierda, van a
the
pushar a la
tank.
izquierda.
A lot of
Vamos,
utility,
vamos,
a
vamos,
lot of
vamos,
utility.
vamos, vamos.
I hear you. I have bottom barrels, scout.
Estoy viendo el trench.
One's P2
Sí, yo
tank.
sé que me
Vamos
están.
top bar.
Sí, hay uno
Nice. That's
atrás.
not my
cabrón,
assist, scout.
en
Or
el-
parte,
that's not my
parte.
assist, Austin.
Está, ok, son
they
dos
go kitchen
derechas,
hole?
son dos derechas, cabrón, en la, jugando para outer.
I have
Y
kitchen.
hay otro
yeah,
más
yeah.
casual y otro más top.
Está en el heavy,
top
está en el
café.
heavy de la izquierda. Le puedes
Hay
pushar
uno
como
top
por plat
café.
y matarlo. Está en el heavy.
Hay uno top
Atrás
café,
de los
dos
sandbags,
izquierda.
Atrás de los sandbags.
Hay uno top
Yep,
café.
yeah, good picks. Ball player streaks.
Está en la
No,
escalera.
está en el tanque, está en el tanque.
¿Te pushó?
No.
Absoluto, yo.
Hay one shot en
Yeah,
izquierda.
streaks.
Yo no veo dos cafés, hombre.
Hay uno
Kev,
casual, hay
I'm
uno
gonna help
casual.
them.
Cuidado, hay uno
Top,
casual.
one
Lo
top,
metiste bien track para todo.
Ok.
He just broke the door, yeah.
Mala mía,
No,
sigue
man,
ahí
it's like,
en
what are you
el-
doing?
en el
Was
carro
that the
negro
guy
de
top?
Castle.
Yeah, those guys
I
top.
heard you.
One more gate.
Stay up. Flat, dead.
Uno arriba
Nice,
también.
fucking go.
Vaya, come on, boys.
Shit.
What the hell are they doing? Hey,
Vamos a hacer
Paul.
como-
Lock in, Paul.
Let's go. Fucking
Big está uno de Strix,
Fucking
marico, hay que
suspects
matarlo.
different. He broke the wall and he just
More.
Watch
Está el
out.
fair blow, bro. Ahí deja que fue el pix. Estamos chill como quiera.
This side of the Avengers who continuously are coming out on top.
Yeah, and that's been 3 rounds so far. They've been markedly different. First one about as quick as they can get. Next 2 being a little bit more slower and flexible, but it's still Avengers on top.
I don't know why our cams are on.
What's up? Oh,
They have a guy L. They have a guy
They do,
L.
they do.
I'll unplug my pants.
Oh, you gotta love the Sunday morning jitters, man. Barely past noon. It's a little foggy in the morning. We got a Bokage, double dose of Bokage to start out the day anyways, but 5 in a row for Big Head. Streak on the table now for the Avengers. Looking to go ahead and clutch in a 1 versus 2. Big Fame. Never seen him lose these. Until now. Fame finally loses it. So Jinete Gaming, hey, you're on the board for the first time here in the S&D. We've seen moments like this too before where Jinete Gaming will either have a really nice little off break of the rip from the search and destroy or maybe struggle a bit and then find their way later inside of the S&D. However, I just don't see this one ending with an Avengers win in you know, in a 6-1 or a 6-2 fashion. I think Jinete Gaming not only have the composure, but the tenacity to be able to bring this one back into a manageable game. And if not, be able to win it outright, be able to at least take this to maybe a round 9, round 10 situation, or I could just be completely blasted yet again. All these things are possibilities. We'll just have to wait and see what happens on the offensive side, though. It is going to be a pushover towards the A site.
Yeah, there's no way of telling these things. We're just gonna sit here and watch. A strike back from Jinete is exactly what the doctor ordered. Allen yet to find themselves a K quite yet, but Judge Babe on the 3 streak is not bad. Little plant action in there as well. Really good to go. Nobody following on this one quite yet, and that is not something we could have said on this broken map on any of these game modes here so far. Coming in on board of Big Head looks outside. It's gonna be Big Head finding one after Allen does a little head hunting right now. 2v3 right now, Cornmeal.
I guess like one big game of musical chairs, just sprinting around the site over at A when you're trying to retake that after that bomb goes down. And the core suspects, beautiful kill there on the Big Head. The headshot will come through, allow the kill to be there. Cruelty, what you're just trying to do right now, damage limitation, maybe find a couple of kills, maybe 1 or 2, find them off some streaks, and be able to save face here. But unfortunately, you feed them the last kill there. The round goes in their favor, and now it's 2-3. We've clawed this one back just a little bit. And I will say, the last time we were watching a player start with an 0-4 in the S&D, it was Phantom Mice when they were able to come back from the 1-4 deficit and then win that inside of the round 11. So let that potentially set precedent for a comeback for Jinete, not only just the first couple of rounds, but of course, the entirety of the S&D. We could be looking at a 2-0 series. I know that's getting a little bit far out ahead of myself right now, but I'm just saying, it's happened before. Don't be surprised if it happens again.
Yeah, exactly. And now everybody in Jinete find themselves at least one. Suspect's the only one positive as of right now. Providing that Overwatch action as of right now, trying to look out and find something. And just on the other side there, of course, he does not have that extra vision. Looking inside, Phantom Ice falling to a well-placed nade on this one. Like you said, the musical chairs of Bouquet just continues on. Fame and, what is that, Suspects? No, excuse me, Allen would literally just, like, reach out and touch each other distance. Like, hugging distance, you know, that's not 6 feet in Cornmeal.
He's lucky that Vale got that kill, because if he lets his teammate die right there while also trying to check through the middle of the map, that just would have been unfortunate. But Joe looks over towards the right. We'll break out over towards the black car. Maybe by P5 down the staircase, we'll be able to find the first kill on the Big Head. So it equals things out of the 3 versus 3. Now we're in a 2 versus 2. Suspects all of a sudden finding kills. Now it's a 1 versus 2. Austin Cruelty will slide in, shuts down the streaking player. And now it's going to be Joe versus Austin in a 1 versus 1. Austin's able to win it, reads the play correctly. They were trying to chase it and find the trade. Could have been a 3-3 round there with streaks for the side of Jinete. However, it turns into a 4-2 lead for the side of the Avengers, still with streaks
Yeah,
for both teams.
He drops down a little bit farther on either left or right side, forcing Cruelty to come out and either hit the slide or do something to get there a little bit faster. Maybe we'll be looking at that one a little bit differently. Not going to matter, though. Avengers up 4-2 after they did, narrowly lose that hard point. Again, that was 237 to 250 on board with Cruelty. Outside, Automaton in hand. Jinete on offense. Maybe the rest of Jinete might be rotating in here. Of course, we're on board Cruelty, and he's just kind of trying to watch this A bomb site as of right now. Board with Allen. Knows those players are out there, you just can't quite see him for the trees.
You're just trying to wait for the couple of players to push out, but they're just not making those moves. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you get caught off guard and then all of a sudden you're just feeding free kills to the other team, especially knowing that they had those 2 rounds in a row where they can really make you pay for the mistakes that you make. However, this round, the Avengers have been pitch perfect. Finding 2 first bloods immediately off the clock, 40 seconds left to work with now. You got the bomb in your hand if you're Jinete, so at least that's the good sign. But you spot Big Head up in towards the window. You know the information on one player. Maybe you try to rotate this out over towards B. It's going to be a risky play because you still got everybody from the side of the Avengers set up on that half of the map. This is just looking like a lost round here from the side of Jinete unless they pull out some theatrics. And even then, it's going to be difficult.
It's going to have to be something flashy here soon. Fame first, so Avengers not going to take a bloodless round here regardless. Popped up, and Allen was about ready to take a little bit off the top right here. That's Big Head, I think, getting close and pushing right now. Cruelty just on the other side. Vale just behind him. 2 seconds to go. Nothing doing on this round.
And you can just feel the Avengers want this search and destroy with the way that they're playing. You get those first 2 picks, dude, you're just going to the back of the map. There's no ego chows here. You know, they're respecting the players from Jinete. That's the thing. You know, when you have the respect for an opponent, you're not going to go out and just over aggressively chow everything. Jinete Gaming, although they're still down 2-5, it doesn't really matter. But we will go into a listen now with the Avengers and see what their play is here on the offensive push.
Estonia como P1 duro, ¿oíste? Estonia como P1.
Hecho lo tiro de una. Tienes uno P1 en el spot, uno atrás de
I'm dead.
I'm dead, bro. It's all good.
Back, or not back barn, back fucking grannies, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Back
One's
grannies.
top, one's
Juke,
top,
juke,
Paul.
yeah,
Or
one's
Kev.
top.
Where you trying to go, Val?
Let's go ahead. One stop.
One guy
top,
broke
top.
tool.
That was,
Yeah,
that was my
tools.
smoke. One is top.
Okay.
Go BB top, yeah. Alright, they know we're here now. One's gonna be back left tank, probably.
Nothing inside with us. Nothing inside with me.
Alright, I'm gonna shut the door, Kev. Yep. He's close, close. Austin, our plat.
Both came both doors.
Still flat. Still flat.
1 versus 3. Cruelty in yet another position in an 1v odd for the side of the Avengers. Jinete refusing to give up just yet. Unfortunately, the offensive push does not come to fruition. They tried to end the game here on the O. It looks like it will be another round loss here. Cruelty just trying to play the life all the way in the back of the map. You're on a 3 spree. You don't want to give this up. You don't want to throw that away. Just in case Jinete start to slip back into this game, you want to be able to have a streak to potentially use, even if you haven't guaranteed yourself it just yet. 2 more kills and it could be big. Suspects, the rest of the players, just playing around over towards the A site. They know that the bomb is down. A beautiful little game there of cat and mouse. Nobody wanting to push up the map, and that results in a Jinete round win. But Tugboat, realistically speaking, this game is not over yet.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Might be match point, but not over by any means. A 5-3 scoreline as of right now in Cruelty. Once again, having the smart play right there. You know, if he's on a 0 streak, on a 1 streak, maybe a little bit different. Maybe play the hand, see what's up, try to make a montage. But also Cruelty with a smart play on this one. 6-2 for him. Best KD in the lobby. 8-6 on the other side for Suspects. On Jinete, maybe the best for their side. Everybody positive, or no, I guess Vale is just shy of that one. But looking onto this A-bomb side as of right now, Suspects just on the other side, found a little bit again. Oh man, talk about a stunning frag combo.
And that is such a big first blood there with the grenade kill, because that gets them off of the A-bomb. That makes them have to force their way out of the holes. Potentially lines them up right into the line of fire of players holding different angles from middle map or the top of the A building. You try to use the audio cue to your advantage, get somebody off guard. However, nobody willing to push. Bayman towards the middle of the barn will be able to find the second in the round. And this is very, very quietly starting to look like an Avengers round win, unless a 1 versus 4 from Joe is possible. Shots from behind won't be able to get it. We're going to at least see a map number 4, because the Avengers will take map 2, tie things up 1 apiece, and we'll go to a map number 3 for a hard point to go ahead and see who will take the advantage of this tied series.
Yeah, and with that, we have our farthest search and destroy round on broadcast. First search and destroy round between Tribeca and Jinete. That was 5-6. That round 11 barn burner to start off here on broadcast yesterday. 4-6 yesterday between Valence and the Avengers means a 3-6. You know, again, a little bit farther away, a little bit not as close. There was our first search and destroy on Bocage as well. So I think, again, that was just more of a test of fast and loud for a lot of that. That kind of pace was set out early right here. Yes, it slowed down a little bit more when you're talking about rounds like 3, 4, 5 and whatnot. But then there towards the end, just literally just turned into a slaying department. I'm not sure if we saw, we didn't see any diffuses. Only saw a couple different plants across those 9 rounds.
Well, if you're enjoying the series so far, I guarantee you this one is only going to get a little bit more fun as we continue to push forward. The S&D goes to the side of the Avengers. Map number 1, it was a Jinete Gaming win on Bocage. So for the first time in this series, we will see a map number 3 switch of our map. So we will see Berlin for the hard point. But before we get into that, we're going to take a quick break while we get the lobby set up and situated. Of course, so as we fix some of the technical issues we are having, we'll be back with you here in just a moment. You're watching the Kraken bounty for the Florida Mutineers, all powered by After Dark eSports. I'm McCormiel. That's FBI Tugboat. We'll see you back here in just a second.
It's up to you, honestly. I'd probably play info.
You can't fucking see it, bro.
Like
Hombre,
the
te
close
digo.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Venom sat on us.
Macho, dimos-
and I couldn't
Estamos dando
see-
mucho
I ran
first
past
blood en
him, I
los
couldn't see
SMD
him.
demasiado.
Yeah, I know what you
bro.
mean.
On outer, there's a
Demasiado.
little left corner, deep corner.
Like to the left of the pillar?
Left of the
Ahora le
pillar.
ganamos este mapa.
I think that'll work. Yeah, you'll be able to get one at least.
Antes bien mal en este mapa.
Should we
cabrón.
run 3 subs P1, or should I just keep out the AR?
En todos son bien malos.
I'll probably just keep the AR out, so I can look all.
I'm about to start crib walking and shit.
Suspect's fucking good. Like that guy was, I like every time he like wiped flat, I had a fucking nade in my ambush, and then I still kill him.
Vaya, boys.
Let's fucking go, boys.
Yo,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
go.
Yo,
Shit,
Vamos allá,
let's
vamos.
push.
3-1.
Let's go.
Fucking shit me.
Vamos allá, cabrón.
Yep.
Venga, cabrón.
baby,
Let's go.
Hella shit out. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, maricón. Nosotros sabemos que esta gente en respawn en este juego es una basura, cabrón.
Can you make sure he doesn't
Nosotros
go
tenemos
that
esto
way?
Gucci,
Change
cabrón.
off, change off
Yeah.
ninja, change off ninja.
Es como el primer mapa,
Yeah.
cabrón. Jugamos
Yeah,
juntitos,
Kev, when
cabrón.
you go,
Jugamos juntos, tradeamos.
To the window side of
No,
the
no,
door.
no,
Yeah, go to
todos
first
mapas,
window
todos son
sill,
nivel
and wait.
Lo calamos
Austin,
ayer
do you
yo,
have outer
¿verdad?
door?
Sí, calamos.
Avengers going to be the first ones to get to the point. Should be able to hold this down for the time being. Jinete going to be breaking in from the offside. Teams are correct once again, so that is a W. 45 seconds on the time clock. Joe will find the first kill here inside of the hard point. Suspects will go ahead and get the trade on to Fame. So technicals back and forth. Pinstripe kill feed was for a tad bit of time, but it is Jinete who will break in from the offside for a couple of seconds before the side of the Avengers will get back in towards the point once again.
Stunning more on the suspects. Cannot keep that one up. Fame finds both. Actually, stun grenade killing Phantom Ice. Not an indicator we see very often. No real lead right here. That's a fantastic cutaway of reinforcements. Bailiffs finding exactly what they need to. First regular shots against Allen. Petty against Bebe. Bailiff at the very end. Last 5 seconds or so, we see the entirety of Avengers just flying up to this next target, trying to get set up, get some action on.
Got a package delivery. This time, though, it's going to be Allen with a couple of bolts to the face of the next player. Big head lines up. Suspects will find 2, and you've got the entirety of point number 2 held down to yourselves. 45 seconds for the Avengers to go ahead and maybe break in for a bit of time. Potentially find some scraps at the exact same juncture. But again, this is for all the bragging rights in the series thus far. Of course, we're tied at 1-1. Jinete was able to take the first hard point. The Avengers take the search and destroy. And if you remember back to the series that the Avengers played against Valence, it was this map specifically where it was the Avengers who created a very mass comeback, were able to put themselves up 2-1 inside of the series. They started off slow on this map for whatever reason, and all of a sudden they kicked it into high gear. It was the first set of rotations where they were down by about 100 points. All of a sudden, the second set of rotations came through. They came back by 100 points, and they were able to win the map by like 70.
It really has been the biggest example of just like a single team wipe coming against them and just providing them that couple seconds of just kind of chill time. Like, what do? What did we just do wrong? What do we need to correct? What do we not allow have happen again? 6-1 for suspects. Looking for some more. That's 7-1 right now. Forced to reload. Automaton that smaller AR magazine size. Look on the outside, and this is flanks all day long. That's suspects, and he is up your ass. There's another one looking for some more. Rat-a-tat in hand, now whipping around this left corner. He knows where it's at. First shot, but not gonna be enough.
It's unfortunate there too. You know, you stall for the rest of your team to be able to push up the map, but unfortunately, you know, as you're trying to play your life right there, you've already got the streaks, so there's really no reason to play your life any further. You just kind of want to push up, be a distraction, allow the rest of your teammates to start to make the push up. It's just the fact that the rest of the teammates couldn't win the one-on-one gunfights back on the opposite side of the point, so you were just basically a rock in a hard place, and you had 3 players who were all going to be staring at you at one point or another. So the Avengers, they do a nice job here on point number 3. They hold down the majority of the time, and they're right back within this game. It's just a 7-point game right now. Sure, this is going to be a very difficult hard point to break if you are coming from the offside because of how deep these spawns are, but Jinete, if you don't play your cards right here for the first couple of seconds, maybe you allow the Avengers to slip in. All you got to do right now is just limit how much time the Avengers can even get on this point, and of course, just go ahead and run up the clock.
This one mega wide open. I guarantee if Avengers the one on this, we'd be seeing some death row above from suspects so far, but a full 3-man wipe. Looking for the 4th right now. Allen falls. Avengers takes this in definitive form. So not too far away is the entirety of this Jinete gaming squad. And we already saw what they can do coming off the 4-man spawns right here. There comes not any advantage taken from the kill streak.
Fame trying to do what he can to keep the streak alive, but it's going to be 4 in a row. Oh, that's just beautiful. That's just sexy. Nice shots, headshot war in the glide bomb, but still the side of the Avengers. have not been able to find just enough to be able to go head-to-head. Regain the lead for the first time here inside of the game. And as Jinete go ahead and try to get on to point number 5. Big Head with some nice shots there. Suspects looks on to the point. Going to be able to find at least the first couple of blows to the first player that hops inside the point. But it won't be all that much because now we're tied at 85. And for the first time here in the game, the Avengers will finally give themselves a lead. Jinete, you started off hot. You started off blazing. But now you're in a situation where you have to be almost perfect the rest of the way because you don't want to give the Avengers the opportunity to run away with this one in the mid portion.
If you just looked at the numbers, McCormill, Jinete was really sliding out. Once again, Suspects went, I think, 7-1 on the run right there. Anything but that, as we have seen afterwards. 12-7 isn't bad by any means, but it's simply not the same solo death situation we start this map out with. Avengers on the other side really popping off here. 12-8 for Vale, 16-12, 16-13 for Fane. These are not bad numbers by any means. Just outside that 100-point mark for the Avengers, Jinete kind of flirt with that point for a second, but then kind of realize, actually her friend, the one coming in about 10 seconds, that's going to work.
You look over towards where Joe's making the push up. 2 more players from the side of Jinete will go ahead and challenge around the corner. Suspects, that's just a dastardly kill to be able to find. Fortunately enough, you're able to go ahead and get it. An aggressive challenge works out in your favor. However, as I say that, unfortunately, it's going to be 4 down for the side of Jinete. The Avengers now going to be able to push everybody out of the front. A free bit of time right now. Jinete finally will go ahead and remuster their way to the point. The reinforcements have arrived. This Fame is going to be able to find 1, make it 2, 3 in a row. You look over towards Allen. You're not going to stand a chance in that gunfight where he's just sprinting towards you. The movement is fantastic. The shot even better. Fame, right now, game high. 20 kills, 15 deaths. Making it look easy.
Yeah, it really has been so far. Did not wait for help to come back on that, but he was just feeling himself. He was feeling juice, something like that. I don't know. 140 to a 90-point lead right now. Avengers, once again, they came out of this one anything but a lead. That is not the situation they find themselves in as of right now. Cruelty lining them up, knocking them down. There's Phantom Ice in the second one as well. Suspects gets that, but that's going to be otherwise a full team wipe against Jinete yet again. I might have to start counting these one up. Full team wipes against Jinete.
Bill, cozy as ever. We'll find 2 in a row. Not really having to stress about much right now because you've locked down not only point number 1, but you find yourselves over inside of point 2 in the mail room. Packing and shipping as it goes. Cruelty inside of the fire room. Looks to go ahead and find the shots there on the Bay. Fortunately, won't be able to get it as Joe goes ahead and pushes back up the map yet again. You find yourselves trying to control the good side of the docks. Don't worry, that's just a visual glitch happening on the map. Not exactly sure what that was. It looked kind of cool.
I didn't sleep that well last night. I was wondering if I was starting to see things tonight.
I mean, hell. At a certain point, I mean, you just got to start to think.
What a interesting game. A great game of Call of Duty. 190 to about 100 right here. You hear something coming from the top. Suspects. It's 1. Fortunately, not going to take out a teammate with that. And obviously, a situation you find yourself in very frequently with this kill streak here with a great game of Call of Duty Vanguard, but not going to happen here today. Testing all the way out right now. Fame playing the role for a few seconds, now getting a side here. Rest of Avengers. Spawn's not that far away, actually. Fame, now Valix, really close by. Jinete spawning about the same distance on the other side. This solo loses SMG up front, and Avengers wipes again.
204 to 108, folks. Remember, the very start of this game, it was Jinete. We're up by about 60, 70 points on the side of the Avengers. All of a sudden, it was one good hold over towards P3. You found a little bit of time at P4. You break in towards the point, and all of a sudden, it's a 100-plus point game for the Avengers, who, despite map number 1 only losing by a couple of points, then go to the S&D, or they're able to go ahead and slay out, find themselves back up where they needed to be once again. And now we go into a map number 3 where it just seemingly just does not look anything close to what map number 1 had for us.
That's entirely fair. Yes, this Berlin map is much wider than Bocage. It just seems like the hectic, chaotic frenzy that is Bocage really played to the Jinete gaming kind of style and whatnot for them. But I mean, anything plays to the style when the Avengers can find team wipes, they can find a
25 seconds left here for the Avengers to be able to take map number 3, put themselves up 2-1 in this best of 5. Remember, folks, we are here inside of the winners finals, so the winner of this best of 5 will go on to our grand finals, where they will go ahead and lock themselves into an opportunity for either $1,000 for second place or $2,000 if you're able to win the entire event. And of course, getting to the grand finals from the winners bracket, if you are new to Call of Duty or a double elimination bracket, we'll guarantee you that a team that comes from the losers bracket to play you will play you in 2 best of 5 series. The Avengers, they're posing their case quite well here. These last 2 maps have been nothing but perfect. 248 to 132. Big head from the top. Veil looking in towards middle. Map, the last couple of ticks will come through. The Avengers, after being down by about 70 points, they're early on in the game. Make that comeback and win look easy. And we'll force map number 4 with a great advantage at 2-1. We'll go ahead and find ourselves in the main stage here. Comms real quick.
Ahora viene otro hard point. ¿Qué dijiste, Alan? No escuché. ¿Qué dijiste, Alan? No escuché.
Hay que tratar de regalar.
No hill time either. Goddamn. Help
Para
your
así,
teammates out.
para setearnos y
Help
coger
on 3. You need some help.
What does Austin say, bro? See, I can't read that because it's so small.
No seteamos bien.
I don't know what that says. Somebody please type in chat to me.
Somos medio raritos.
I just need to see.
Ahora es hard point. Yo lo que no adelantar mucho por aquí.
Austin, I don't know.
Escúchame, esta gente va a jugar mucho pavos y pa' mierda, maricón. Vamos a jugar, maricón.
See, this is the thing that I love about LAN, right? You know, we have everybody talking in the background. Like, you know, again, if you guys weren't here when we were talking about it yesterday, we haven't been feeling great, myself and Tugboat included. So that's why we're not actually in Miami right now for this event. But you know, just seeing just the cams on and everything is just kind of making me miss the actual atmosphere of the LAN. And I just can't wait until we're back and able to do this in person again, because why not?
Miss vibes, dude.
Like that's
the life right
it's
there.
lit.
Land life, man. With animals. That's where we live.
Oh, I miss it. I really wish I would have taken the trip to Miami, but still a little sick. So that would not have been responsible of me to do so. And well, I mean, at least I'm sporting the spirit a little bit, sitting in my room doing nothing all day. So at least that works a little bit.
The Call of Duty look to it. We got Gavutu coming up here. This might be our last, as we're rounding into our 3rd hard point as of right now. And this has really been all over the field, right? 250 to 237 for Jinete. Avengers come back with their hard point performance, 250 to 133. I got nothing right here, right? Berlin, kind of that medium size. Gavutu, very, very large. Bocage, very small. Little Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear situation. Who knows how bad Papa Bear is going to go?
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go, but right now all I see is the Avengers being able to slay out in towards the first point. I know that our faces are still on the screen, so this is like an AM broadcast right now. There we go. Suspects, Fame, all around the point. Trying to look back over towards the left. Suspects trying to push back onto the point. Veil over the top on the head glitch is going to be there for 1. Fame will clean things up. It's a 2-0 start here for Fame. Looking for a few more. Cruelty at 2-1. This is the best break off the Avengers could have hoped for. Jinete, you'll try to break back into the point, but right now the best you can really hope for is to sit up for P2 and get a lion's share of time off of it. But guess who's already set up and rotated? It's Big Head. What is he going to be able to do to maybe play like a rat over towards the point? I don't know just yet, but an off-screen engagement will go to the way of Big Head. 3 in a row for the side of the Avengers. And Jinete, once again, will have their last player spotted out. Should be taken down in a swift action.
Man, I'm going to have to start counting up this full 4-man wipes. Before that's provided Jinete a little bit of breathing room to kind of come in and reevaluate situations, kind of reassess and whatnot. That has done nothing but provide Avengers more and more time on the point. Let's take a look at these numbers. 4-1, Valek's the only one not positive at 2-3, 4-2 for Fame, more than doubling up. Cruelty just went outside 5-2, crazy stuff, and this is going down on the ship right now. 50 points before Jinete even touches their first hard point, excuse me.
Well, again, little claps of success, small milestones throughout a map. Jinete have found themselves in a position to go ahead and find their way back into the game, much like the Avengers did there inside of map number 3. Joe will fly back onto the point. That's a good about 25 seconds of scrap that you're going to be able to earn for yourselves there. And as Jinete will try to rotate themselves over towards the right side of the map. Look where those blue arrows are set up. 2 players watching throughout the middle of the map. You have 1 player who's just playing for time. Cruelty was just trying to play the distraction because he's going to spawn up close to the rest of the team once again. Actually, I lied about that. That was all the way across the map on the left side. So this actually could be a beautiful Jinete break. You just got to kill Vela. You got to make sure Fame gets killed. Well, you can't let Fame double piece you there and then maybe even find the triple. You jump around the right corner, you pick them off, you get them all out, caught in the open with their pants down. And of course, just like that, snaps the team into the oblivion, just like we saw multiple times. And you guessed it, 6 stones Thanos.
There you go, yeah. All of the Fame, what he's been doing so far. Effect the same here. Getting a little bit lower, but really been living on these tanks so far. More than doubling up at a 10-4 scoreline. The Avengers come through with another team wipe. Jinete spawning a little bit farther away, but with 10 seconds left, their idea and their attention going to be moving towards this next hard point and setting up right there. As I say that though, Valix up top, ready to go. Shots through like bare corners right now, fragging more on the right side. That'll roll in, not find too much damage-wise. Now the rest of Avengers are going to crack this one like a nut.
5 in a row for Big Head. Now make it 6 full streaks to use. 115 points on the board for the side of the Avengers. Jinete, since the first little bit of juice that they had on Berlin, it just seemed to all crumble directly in front of them. They have not been able to find any sort of semblance of team pushes, any sort of semblance of presence on the map, or any pressure. The slang hasn't been there either. Everybody negative right now. This is not to harp on them for anything other than the fact that we know that they can play better. We've seen them play better. When you have a roster that's capable of being able to not only go up against the Avengers, take a map off of them, but continuously keep up with them in the slaying department throughout the entirety of a map that goes within 25 points all the way to the 250 point mark, it just sucks to see them not be able to find their rhythm in a map that seems like it would favor them.
Dude, that's fair. That's fair. Like, I know I keep harping on the 4-man team wipes that aren't helping them. This is a Jinete gaming squad that has come forth once again, literally showing Fortnite what they can do live in person and everything else. Second place finish for them. A solid amount of cash going their way on earlier land performances. The only difference now is that Fortnite ain't there this time. 160, 162 to 26 right now is Avengers simply having their way right now, just taxing Jinete left, right, and center. Oh my god, talk about tracking on this one. Joe Bebe looking for a second, not gonna matter. Big Head puts him down. The stands, the arrogance, the confidence coming in. Another 4-man team wipe. That's...
See, the thing, Tugboat, right, is that Jinete, when they were pushing back over towards this point, when they were pushing from the actual boat side, the biggest thing I saw was they got a nice kill feed where they had 4 players down. The only reason that they weren't able to break back in towards the point is that when they started to make that push forward, the Avengers spawned too close. They weren't able to capitalize off a 4-down kill feed, and it just led them to playing almost stagnant to where they were. They didn't even try to get in towards the point, and again, once they came off a respawn on the side of the Avengers, it was just all shut down from there. So, I mean, now you look at it, it's 194 to 38, folks. If you are just joining us, we are inside of the winners finals right now, with the Avengers just about 56 points away from finding their way into the grand finals and guaranteeing themselves either $1,000 or $2,000, depending on where they place inside the actual grand finals. But with the way they've been playing against all of their opponents, and with Tribeca unfortunately having an early exit here, or not Tribeca, Valence, the team that they played a little bit earlier on that played them really well throughout the entire series, making an unfortunate exit in the losers bracket. This is looking like the team that's not only going to be the team to beat, but unfortunately nobody has really put up that much of a challenge except Jinete in map number 1. After that, it's been all downhill from there. The comeback, sure, it's you could do it, maybe, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, at this point we're looking at scrap time, like garbage time. Quite literally, right? 35 seconds, that's all Avengers needs. That they need less points than Jinete has gotten right now. How crazy is this? 225 now, another run. Valix popping off again. 5-speed, call it 6 now, looking for more. Oh, it does get taken down with the Pistola, so maybe an uneventful end right there. But of course, while he's doing that, team still taking points before him.
10 seconds away from being able to go ahead and move on to the grand finals. The Avengers have played perfect Gavutu hardpoint all the way over towards the left side. You got one final push if you're the side of Jinete. Looks like you're just going to be thinking about going down to the losers bracket and making sure you can have the composure and keep everything still. You're sprinting into the wall, starting to lick the metal just a bit.
bro.
Everybody else straight across and just sits down.
Easy, bro.
Better to be confident and clean. This series win, you lose map number 1, you sweep them the rest of the way throughout the series. The S&D map
Austin
number 2,
Cruelty
and
himself.
and close, they didn't look back
See
throughout the rest of that series. And now
you in grand finals.
they find themselves in some of the grand finals. Jinete Gaming, they'll go down to the losers bracket. So now we have to talk about where that leaves us in terms of the overall bracket. And right now, as we said beforehand, the Avengers, as they move on, Jinete will fall down. We're waiting on the game between Trivec Gaming and Lurk Official to be completed. And of course, that will be our next match on stream. The winner of Trivec and Lurk versus Jinete Gaming in the losers finals. That, of course, will build us back up to where we will find ourselves in a grand final. And then we'll talk about potential best of 5 bracket resets, all that kind of nonsense once we eventually get there. But at least for the time being, we are going to be waiting for a match to go ahead and finish up on the offside. So with that being said, Tugba, any big takeaways from this overall series from the Avengers and or Jinete?
I mean, we talked earlier about how this might be another rematch here in the grand finals. Whoever wins, Lyric Official, Trivec, I mean, both would be fantastic, or either would be a fantastic team. But really, if you're Jinete, you have to think about what went wrong in this hard point. It'd be easy just to boil this down just to straight up slays, given again how many times you just got 4-man wiped over and over and over. Just slamming head against the wall. No different result on there. They're gonna have to figure out what exactly it is, because there's a lot more hard point to be played if you're this Jinete Gaming squad dropping down to that losers bracket. Back with you guys in just a minute.